Fighting out of the blue corner. He's wearing white trimmed with black and weighs in 106½ pounds. His professional record, a perfect one. 15-0, 13 KOs, and he's ranked #1 in the world, the IBF. He comes to us from Seoul, Colombia. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the undefeated #1 ranked light flyweight in the world, Mauricio Pastrana. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trimmed with red letters, weighing 108 pounds. His professional record, 44 victories with 29 KOs, only 2 defeats. He's the young man who captured a silver medal in 1988 for the USA from Phoenix, Arizona. Here is the 2-time world champion and reigning IBF light flyweight champion of the world, Las Manitas de Piedras, Michael Carbajal.
I spoke to both fighters in the dressing room. Caution again, obey my commands all the time. Shake hands, good luck.
When Carbajal beat Gonzalez, it was a slugfest. When Gonzalez twice beat Carbajal, he turned it into a boxing match. I bring that up now because Carbajal's camp believes that his opponent tonight is a slugger who will stand and slug with him. That's what they want. But he told us that he's going to try to box Carbajal. Let's see what happens.
We talked about Carbajal's economic circumstances as the only 108-pound fighter ever to have earned over $1 million. Pastrana is a little bit more like what you expect out of this division. To this day, despite the 15 straight wins and 13 KOs, he doesn't own a car. And tonight, Larry, he's making what, 55,000 bucks?
Right. Which is just 55 times bigger than his previous high purse.
So if there's a hungry fighter in there tonight, it is Mauricio Pastrana. Carbajal throwing a right hand over the top. Is going to hope that Pastrana will come at him so he can find something to counter.
Yeah, Carbajal has the luxury of having the reach tonight. He probably is going to take advantage of it for as long as he can. Build up points, occasionally a good, strong right hand. And if it doesn't get tough, win the fight.
The tattoo on Carbajal's left arm is a traditional dream catcher motif and carries the names of his 5 children. And there's the best punch so far for Pastrana, a left hand across the top that landed on Carbajal's chin. Pastrana looks a little cautious in there.
And you can't be cautious. This is your chance. You got to get in there and win every round. Put a round every time you get on that stool, 1 round in the bank.
He's definitely trying to follow the fight plan of Gonzalez in the fights 2 and 3 against Carbajal. Staying outside and then jumping in with a punch or 2 and getting out of there. That's the plan. We'll see how long it can work. It's up to Carbajal to change the plan.
Carbajal, with his excellent reach advantage, should occasionally go down to the body to make sure when this guy decides to make his move, Pastrana, that he's weakened.
Watch 2 4-round preliminaries up to this point. This fight is scheduled for 12 as Michael Carbajal's light flyweight championship is at stake.
Whenever you're in the ring with a guy trying to box you, you've got to buy your insurance by going to the body. Although you're not mixing it up, occasionally just touch him in the body. It doesn't have to be hard. No matter how many sit-ups and push-ups you do, you just can't build resistance from body punches. Good right hand to the body by Carbajal.
Round 1 comes to a close. Michael Carbajal against Mauricio Pastrana. Boxing Boxing returns to pay-per-view Saturday, March 22 with an evening featuring 2 championship fights. Azuma Nelson defends his super featherweight title against former champion Genaro Hernandez, plus a title defense by light flyweight champion Michael Carbajal. Also featured James Leja and the ever-popular Butterbean. All of that presumes, of course, that Carbajal will win this fight here tonight and hold on to his light flyweight championship. For that pay-per-view card, contact your local cable operator to order.
Right here is going to work. Okay, you barely missed him right there. Bien calmadito, así no es tuyo, ya lo tienes. Siempre aguanta, ya no siempre lo primero.
29-year-old Michael Carbajal was the first American Olympic boxer from the class of 1988, Seoul, South Korea, to win a world title. He accomplished that in 1990, only a year and a half into his professional career.
It would be a good idea if he won tonight, if he wants to appear as a champion on that next card.
Good point. Incidentally, in case you're wondering, whatever happened between Mauricio Pastrana and the young mother who abandoned him, he met her 2 fights ago, and they have become close and friendly.
Now Pastrana starts to open up a little bit. He's got to mix him up to the body also.
Now Pastrana stepping in a little more aggressively and lands a left hand over the top. That's going to give Carbajal more of a chance, and he takes advantage.
Yeah, whenever Pastrana is able to land any kind of combination, Carbajal has got to come back and make him pay, and make him pay big. When guys are boxing and trying to be conservative with their punches, that means that they don't want to expel a lot of energy anyway, so make them do it anyway.
George, guy comes from a guy nobody has heard of, comes to America to fight a famous American champion, and all he's doing is counterpunching and running around. It's awfully hard to win a title that way.
Yep, unless you got the ultimate. Sometimes they decide at 4 rounds, I'm going to go at him.
There's a hard left hand by Pastrana.
You can win it that way.
Carbajal was caught between punches and wide open when Pastrana stepped in and let fly with that left.
Now, Pastrana has the advantage. He's been shorter probably most of his fights, so he knows how to function in that lower position.
Right, 5 feet 3 inches tall.
You don't think he was taller at one point, George?
but Carbajal is always having to go against the odds. He's been a small guy, and he's had to fight his way in there and get about the canvas.
Carbajal with a hard body shot with the right hand and another hard body shot with the left hand. Pastrana backed away, and now he comes in and says, well, I'll throw a body shot or two myself, but they didn't land as cleanly as Carbajal's, although Pastrana does stick that left hand over the top again.
Yeah, that's your insurance policy as far as Carbajal is concerned. This guy's got 15 wins, but there's only 15 fights. Go through his body. Give him another kind of boxing lesson.
Short left hand lands for Carbajal on the counter. Now he steps in and tries to follow up to the body again. Round 2 comes to a close.
All right, sit down, take it easy. Take a deep breath. How do you feel? Have you felt his punches yet? Don't stay in there. Just keep moving around just like you're doing. You got to be very intelligent. Those long punches. Keep your hands up. Go in.
Ok, y métele mal al cuerpo. Y manténlo en el centro, no te vayas a la soga. Cuando tú sientes la soga aquí, ya vete.
Okay, hold him. Don't let him hit you. You got to hold him if you're hurt. Don't try to knock him out with just one punch.
Carbajal in the first 2 rounds has thrown 63 jabs, obviously a weapon he wants to use. Only landed 10 of them. Needs to shorten the distance between himself and Pastrana to step up his advantages in this fight. Hard right hand by Pastrana wobbles Carbajal backward.
I think now Carbajal know why he's a top contender.
Yeah. I don't think Carbajal expected to get tagged like that by this guy.
Not at all. But these guys live in a world. They're small, 104, 5, 6 pounds most of the time. And they're quicker and faster than most people they meet. They get in the ring with someone equally as fast as they are. It's devastating for a few rounds.
Well, and from a sheer muscle fitness standpoint, Pastrana has a look that suggests he might even be a little bit stronger than Carbajal. Although Carbajal has been a strong puncher in most of his fights, as is evidenced by his 29 KOs and 44 wins.
Carbajal eventually will abandon all of the left jabs and the right hand. He'll go straight to mix it up. And that's what Pastrana may have the advantage. The thick shoulders.
Carbajal with the right hand across the top. Got it over the glove of Pastrana. Pastrana, safety first as he came in with the left hand up by the side of his face.
Good left hook to the body by Carbajal. Carbajal is doing a lot of following him around, Pastrana around without doing anything. He waits until Pastrana does something to him.
But when he goes to the body, he lands and Pastrana stops moving.
If you're going to follow this guy, you're going to have to throw some shots. Like right now, he's standing there waiting.
Oh, right hand counter shot by Pastrana. Carbajal's legs wobbling.
Carbajal is really hurt, and now he's calling upon his experience and professionalism to get him through this period.
And let's see how aggressive Pastrana will get as he has Michael Carbajal wobbled. 10 seconds left in the round. Uppercut missed for Pastrana. Right hand missed. No chance to finish here.
And Carbajal finishes the round with 2 good right hooks to the body.
Anytime that you feel like Edgaril, you gotta remember, si no te arrimas y no sientes nada, no le hace que agarres el 8, ¿me entiendes?
Okay. Be smart. How do you feel? Whenever he comes near you, make sure you use your smart. Are you okay?
Keep them hands up. He's trying to sneak in. I told you, keep the hands up. You gotta stay on him, okay? Stay close. He can't fight on the inside. He bounces and bounces and then he jumps in, okay? If you stay close to him, he can't do nothing. He doesn't know how to fight inside.
Near the end of the round, fortunately for Carbajal, you see he misses a punch. Pastrana comes up with a punch that landed high on the head. It didn't look like it could do that much damage, George.
That's how he's able to recover, because it's high on the head. It'll just make your knees do funny things. On the chin, it would have done more damage.
In round 3, Pastrana only connected on 16 punches, but 14 of them were power shots. And he has shown a surprising ability in the first 3 rounds to hurt Michael Carbajal, particularly when he gets inside and counters.
Carbajal is making that all-familiar mistake of following a guy around without doing anything. Like the old telephone commercial, let your fingers do your following.
And suddenly Pastrana is the much more aggressive fighter.
Carbajal has got to have his hand moving, not his legs moving. Move your hand around at this guy.
Strong left hook by Carbajal there. Seems to have his legs back now. 1 minute into the 4th. Carbajal with a right hand shot to the chest. Backs Pastrana up. Pastrana comes back throwing left.
Carbajal makes 3 steps and nothing. You got him let 1 step, jab, 1 step, jab.
Pastrana trying to do a wonderful imitation of Gonzalez in his victories over Carbajal. Throw the punches, get out.
Carvajal's getting hurt upstairs by the sharp counters from Pastrana. Sure, judges think he's got to throw a lot of body punches and try to take this power out of Pastrana.
Well, he had the convenience of having a reach, but he doesn't know how to use it, so you may as well get on in there and beat this guy at his own game. Stay close to him and hit him at all times.
Like he's doing right now.
Yeah, you got to stay close to him and always keep one hand or the other on this guy. You just can't stand back and look.
And now Carbajal is beating Pastrana to the punch and has regained the initiative in the bout. Body punches doing it for Michael Carbajal in round 4. Hard right hand landed across the top for Pastrana.
Carbajal is going back to 2 steps and wait, 2 steps and wait. You got to go 1 step, hit.
Good right hand. Best punch of the night for Carbajal in that exchange. Those body punches may be paying off now, George.
No doubt about it.
Don't hold him. Great, step back, step back.
In 46 career fights, Carbajal has been decked only twice. Both of those knockdowns in the first fight against Humberto Chiquita Gonzalez, which he came back to win in a knockout. Pastrana with another good combination. Carbajal goes back to the body. Both guys getting progressively more effective offensively as the fight goes on.
Carbajal gets into trouble when he stops and look around and wait.
Good round for Carbajal coming back from the end of the last round and the start of this round.
There's Butterbean. Well, not for nothing is Butterbean warming up like that. You are going to get a chance to see him. And those of you who spent all your money on this pay-per-view card because of Butterbean, you won't be disappointed.
With the hands high. With the hands high. Now, when he comes out, you're throwing the right hook and it's missing it. Tira lo derecho. Hace para lado, tira lo derecho. All right? Straight, straight. You'll catch it. Oh, no, let me see that down.
You got to keep your hands up, all right? You got to keep them hands up. Right. You're trying to sneak in there.
The punch stat observation here. It's getting to be a war. 69 punches connected in round 4 between the two fighters, and 61 of them were power shots.
Good right hand by Pastrana. Just can't wait.
Harold Letterman, very quickly, how do you have it through
Tim,
4
I got it
rounds?
3 rounds to 1, but only 38-37 for Michael Carbajal. I would have given that kid an extra point without a knockdown in the 3rd round because Carvajal's legs were going every which way and he was 1 punch away from getting knocked out.
Hard left hand by Carbajal. And suddenly, Pastrana is frozen at center ring, and Carbajal followed up with 2 or 3 body shots. Carvajal's fight plan is considerably better in the last 2 rounds than it was in the preceding 3.
No doubt about it. He's using his jab left for this time because it seemed that he didn't know what to do with that left jab, so he may as well wade in and do what he can do best anyway. Wade in and mix it up. Whenever he goes back to the old left jab here, left jab there, the other guy jumps those punches in on top. So you would think the left jab would be the way to go, but it's not tonight for Carbajal.
Pull him back, pull him back.
Pastrana momentarily looking at Steele as if to say, don't let him hold me and hit. Carbajal doing a slightly better job of cutting off the ring now, although that time Pastrana escaped with lateral movement.
Great, step back to him. Come on, punch that down, pull him back. Come on.
Now you see Pastrana gets ready to hop in as soon as it goes back to jabbing and waiting.
And Carbajal has been countered enough, George, that he's lunging and reaching with a lot of these punches instead of stepping in behind them.
You've really got to be sold on that doctrine of the left jab first, left jab first. If you're not sold on it, no matter how good you are, you're not going to be successful with it. Carbajal has got a good jab, but he's not sold on that's the way to do it.
But through rounds 4 and 5, although Carbajal has regained his physical capacity and is fighting intelligently, Pastrana is throwing more punches, which could attract the attention of the judges. Okay, you got to throw with feelings now. Let's go with it. Take a deep breath. Nice and easy. Give him a nice massage. He needs a little massage in the legs and the body. Take a lot of air. Throw the straight right hand. Straight right hand. Right in the middle.
Here's a champion going to work. You see now he's got his fists around his face, trying to encourage Pastrana to come in. He does, and he uses the left hook to advantage. 3 left hooks in a row. As George has suggested, he's going away from the jab for the most part now, trying to get Pastrana to come to him so that he can land his heavier shots.
That's great.
Round 5, Michael Carbajal landing more punches, but Mauricio Pastrana throwing more punches. Sometimes what really gets the eyes of the judges is how many punches you throw. How aggressive do you look in there?
Seeing that Pastrana's had the disadvantage of the left jab for a long time, so now he waits for a guy to use his left jab, and that's when he hops in. So when you go back to just throwing punches, he gets in trouble himself.
And the result, as George has so accurately pointed out, Carbajal never really committing to the jab in this fight, just sort of putting it out there and creating opportunities for Pastrana when he does.
Whenever you throw 3 good left jabs, Pastrana's going to start hopping on you and functioning better.
Pastrana lands an uppercut while Carbajal digs shots to the body. Another uppercut for Pastrana and another couple of good shots by Carbajal in return. Pretty even fight now as we get toward the end of round 6 in a scheduled 12-rounder. Michael Carbajal's light flyweight world championship on the line, and Mauricio Pastrana giving a much better account of himself so far than a lot of people would have expected for a relative unknown from Sincelejo, Colombia.
Matter of fact, Pastrana is taking over with the better left jab now.
And a good quick left hook countering in there. It's a left hook up top for Carbajal.
Beautiful three-shot combination.
As long as Carbajal is landing 3 shots at a time, the fight belongs to him. Once he goes to the 1 shot, Pastrana takes over.
Carbajal at his best in this fight when he starts out working to the body and then comes upstairs off of it.
Well, these are some of the best body shots you're going to see over and over by both opponents. Carbajal once again just marches after the guy and don't do anything.
Hard right hand by Carbajal countering over a Pastrana left.
Punching it out.
Halfway through.
This is a millionaire, a prince against a pauper. But in the ring, it's the ultimate meritocracy.
Let him flow. Let the combo flow. When you get inside, get off as many shots as you can inside. Cortito es, mira. Cuando él está, mójalo.
Go ahead and wet him down. Give him some water.
Arriba. Mójamelo, eso.
Go ahead, lots of water.
There we go. Okay, mira.
Look.
Cuando esos uppercuts también, pero que tienes que quedar cortito. Boom, boom. Just like the uppercut bag, right?
If Carbajal is winning the fight, it's because he's been landing those hard, clean body punches like that. Right on the borderline. Good punch. Incidentally, Jim, I just got an update on the odds on the main event tonight from the Caesar Palace legal bookmakers. The odds have now fallen to 4.5 to 1 on Oscar De La Hoya over Miguel Angel Gonzalez.
So more late Gonzalez money, continually bringing the odds down from the peak, where De La Hoya was favored by what, Larry, as much as 11 to 1?
Well, it opened theoretically at around 12 to 1. I think the bookmakers had it 10 or 11 to 1. But now it's only the money that determines the odds, not theory.
Pastrana started to be the better of the left jab again, doubling up on his jab, single jab, all the things that Carbajal should have been committed to doing earlier. It's like taking a guy's gun from him and using it on him.
It wasn't the jab that made Carbajal a $1 million fighter, George. And now there's a cut
over the left eye.
Over the left eye of Carbajal.
And I didn't see a butt, so I think that came from a Pastrana right hand.
I think it was that left jab early on. He's been really good with that thing. He sticks it in, it's snappy. Carbajal just can't sit back and wait for this kid. This kid knows how to fight.
Right now, Carbajal is in for the fight of his life.
And that's exactly what he didn't want to do. That's why he started out using his reach advantage. Point is, he may have to brawl for the rest of his boxing career.
Well, he's not disappointed if he has to brawl.
No. Some guys are hoping to be flash and move and jab like De La Hoya in the punch.
Well, I'm telling you, the blood may be coming from right on the eyelid. It's hard to tell as they move around.
Yeah, we'll get a good look at it between rounds. And the cut man in Michael Carbajal's corner is a doctor, Dr. Robin McDougall. Not one of the well-known cutmen in the sport, but of course Michael has always operated with his own camp from Phoenix, Arizona, the people who have been with him all the way through his career, organized by his brother Danny.
The good thing for Carbajal, he has stayed committed to going to the body whenever he can.
And seeing the cut over Carbajal's eye, Pastrana starts to jab more, thinking that he can target it more precisely with a straight jab, like that.
No doubt about it. He's getting the better of the left jab, Nut. Keep him up, Mike. Keep him up.
Good straight right hand by Carbajal. He follows it up with a lot of body punishment. Michael Carbajal stepping up the intensity as the blood flows from a cut above his left eye.
It's all right.
Yep.
Tony, you have some water, Tony. Dale agua, Tony.
Let's give him some water.
Get some?
It's all right, man. It's okay. Dame la blanca. Esa mera.
Stuck on. All right.
Referee Richard Steele indicates that the cut did not come from a
Take that
headbutt.
jab. He's hitting you too much with that jab. You got to slip that jab.
But you can see that it's just above the eyelid and below the brow. But now let's take a look at what we have here. And they clashed heads there, and that's where the cut could have happened.
So on our tape, we see that the blood started flowing right after
according
that
to
clash of
our
heads.
crack team of photographers and editors, that's when the blood did start to flow.
Harold Letterman.
What, Jim, what that means is if the fight is stopped at this point, Pastrana would win on a TKO. We wouldn't go to the scorecards because Richard Steele didn't call it a headbutt. In other words, Richard Steele is saying that the cut was caused by a punch. If the fight stopped, Pastrana wins on a TKO, and now Pastrana's bleeding badly.
Pastrana will have a cut over his right eye. We can't tell right at the moment.
No holding. Break. Somebody.
Little guys bleed too.
Because of the cut over Carbajal's left eye, in the last round, Pastrana stepped up his jab count through 27 jabs, landed more than half of them. That hasn't been his fighting motif up to this point, but he's obviously adjusting to what he sees in front of him. And George Foreman says it's good strategy.
Carbajal doesn't understand that you don't have to connect with that jab, just to throw it out there, put it out there. The guy can't see you like a smoke screen. When you walk into him, just throw it out there a little bit.
Don't hold and break. Somebody.
Carbajal corner listed Dr. Robin McDougall as the cut person, but in actuality, between rounds, it was Danny Carbajal himself who was treating the cut.
Fortunately for Carbajal, the cut is trickling down around the side of the eye and does not appear to be hindering his vision at this point.
Bound to be a distraction anyway, though, right?
No doubt. You hate to see blood in your face in a boxing match, because you know it turns the other guy on to just hit you on that spot and move out of the way.
And also it can influence the judges in the sense that the close rounds might now go to the challenger.
Yeah, the judges, they see that blood just like you and me. And they'll, just like one of us, we'll just say, oh, he won that round because of the blood.
In 15 previous professional fights, Mauricio Pastrana has been past the 8th round only once. Michael Carbajal, 19 times in his career, he's gone past 8. And look at how emboldened Pastrana is now as the result of Carbajal's difficulty with the cut.
Like I said earlier, Pastrana could have been thinking about later on, let's get rough.
Pastrana is now fighting in what appears to be his more natural style, in your chest.
Okay.
Don't move, Michael. Let me work on this cut here. Let's get some water to him.
This is okay. Ábreme la cosita. Yeah. Esa.
Hello. Y tírale tu recta.
Go ahead. Make sure you throw the straight right hand right between his hands. Make sure you measure him in the neck.
Go ahead. Vuelve.
Let's get some Vaseline on him. We're working on him real good.
Ray Torres interpreting in both corners, and you can see one thing that's happened. Because Danny Carbajal, the trainer, is now treating Michael's cut, Michael gets a lot less advice between rounds in the corner because Danny's focusing on the cut, no longer giving instructions to his fighter on what he wants him to do.
At risk here is not only Carbajal's title, but the last big fight of his career, which he won against Ricardo Lopez, the wonderful strawweight champion from Mexico. Strawweight is at 105 pounds. Carbajal fights at about 108. That would be a very, very big attraction in the Southwest and Mexico and South America.
Ricardo Lopez has conducted a strawweight reign of terror for the last 7.5 years. Good body punch, George.
Carbajal went in with a straight right to the body in the pit of the belly. That hurt.
And Pastrana's punch count slows down momentarily as the result. Now he comes back pumping the jab.
Sometimes you go down to the body and you go down with vengeance, vengeance, and you make the other guy think, hey, this guy's trying to break me apart, and he'll stop throwing you punches to your head. I think that's what Carbajal is trying to do.
Break. Time. Go to the corner. Go to the corner. Go to the corner.
Richard Steele sends Carbajal to a neutral corner and asks for a repair of the tape around the glove of Mauricio Pastrana.
Time.
Short counter right hand inside by Pastrana.
Carbajal has got to be careful not to just go in there with one shot. You got to make sure you throw three once you throw that right to the body. Come back up with three more.
Punch to get out of there.
He's trying to go to that right to the body to make Pastrana lower his right hand so he could come back up to the head, but it didn't work. That's kind of frustrating, too, when you've done all the things that you were supposed to do to make a guy drop his right hand, and he doesn't do it.
Keep him up.
His left hand, I mean.
Pastrana coming back with combination punching again. For the last minute, he's been beating Carbajal to the punch and landing the harder shots in combination. Ninth round offers no evidence that Michael Carbajal is on the verge of wearing Mauricio Pastrana down or finding some new opportunity to do damage. He's going to have to hope that the judges will give him credit for going forward and making the fight.
Listen for the bell, okay?
Still to come, Oscar De La Hoya guns for yet another victory. He's had a remarkable string of victories over top fighters, champions and former champions over the course of the past couple of years, climaxing with his June 7 surgery job, cosmetic surgery, if you will, on the face of Julio Cesar Chavez here in Vegas. Now coming off the longest layoff of his career and repair of a damaged shoulder. He gets ready for another very tough opponent in Miguel Angel Gonzalez. And there's the left eye of Michael Carbajal.
Sigue trabajando el cuerpo con síntomas que sentí.
In round 9, Mauricio Pastrana, by punch stat numbers, threw 92 punches to only 56 for Michael Carbajal, landed 36 to 26 for Michael Carbajal. Carbajal is digging himself a hole here against Pastrana and needs to find some better answers in the last 3 rounds of the bout.
No doubt about it. Carbajal has been going one punch at a time all night, and is starting to catch up with him now. Should pick it up to combinations. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pastrana, every time he throws one, he tries to hit you with the other.
Work inside. Come on, let's work. Break. Step back, please.
First 3-punch combination for Carbajal in the latter round. Everything is one at a time for Carbajal. He's got to pick it up.
Meanwhile, look at the number of blows Pastrana throws. They get in close. Carbajal throws about 4 punches, and Pastrana throws a dozen in combination.
And that Pastrana can take a punch.
I started to say he's got a pretty good chin, doesn't he?
Well, he just took 3 or 4 more of them. I don't know how many of them he wants to take to show us he can take them.
You're right that time. This is not the time you want to show us. Not with this fighter.
Michael Carbajal has always been a resilient warrior. He's shown the capacity to come back and right himself after undergoing difficulty in the ring. Got decked twice by Humberto Chiquita Gonzalez in their first fight. Came back to win it by knockout. Never expected this kind of challenge from Mauricio Pastrana, who backs him up with counter-shots again. Crowd is beginning to warm to the unknown Colombian because they can see what an effort he's putting forth.
This is not the kind of guy we saw in the earlier rounds. He was elusive, as though he couldn't take a punch. He fooled me.
I think he fooled Carbajal, too.
Not to mention.
The whole break. Step back, step back.
10 seconds left in the 10th round. 2 rounds remaining in a fight in which Michael Carbajal is increasingly in trouble in defense of his crown. Hard right hand by Carbajal to punctuate the 10th.
Tiene que presionar la pierna, ¿eh? Ahí estaba bien. We got the cut. The cut stays taken care of, okay? How you feel, guys?
Okay. Give him water. Okay, you need 2 rounds and you'll be world champion. Don't just stand there. Keep jabbing him and the straight right hand right in the center. Don't exchange with him. You're the world champion already. Let's go with it. And number...
Earlier, Jim, I listed all of those amazing upsets in the last 2 months. We may be witnessing yet another one.
This would rank with any of them, wouldn't it? Harold Letterman, how do you have it going into the last 2?
Jim, let me tell you, I think this is very close. 5 rounds apiece, 95-94, Mauricio Pastrana. That 1 point that I gave him for that great 3rd round he had is the difference in a fight. And you know what? In rounds 8, 9, and 10, he really outworked him. Threw more punches, was busier. He was the aggressor, and I thought he won the 8, 9, and 10 to pull out ahead.
I have it 5 rounds apiece. Points are even.
Well, what's happened in the last 2 rounds, the preceding round, the 10th, and now the 11th, which you have not seen at any other point in the fight, is that sometimes Carbajal's backing up and Pastrana is going after it.
Well, they were wondering before the fight whether he was going to be the aggressor or the boxer, this young fighter, Pastrana, and he showed us both. And more importantly, he's showing it to Carbajal.
I think he's a lot better fighter, Pastrana, than he showed us in the first 4 rounds, which may have cost him a lot of rounds, too.
He'll be 24 years old, I should say, this coming Monday. So this would be an ideal early birthday present for him.
Carbajal was so much more active in the first 3 rounds that Pastrana, we all thought was just overmatched.
Yep, that's right.
And the judges look at things like that. Although he's picking up the pace now and looking stronger, he may have a lot to make up for.
That's right. How big a hole did he dig for himself in the early rounds of the fight before you began to see and realize how even the bout was and how much damage Pastrana could do to Carbajal. Oh, hard left-hand shot in the middle of the ring by Pastrana, and Carbajal countered with a right over the top.
The referee is doing a good job of staying out of the way, too, in a good fight like this.
Nice of you to pay a compliment to Richard Steele, who takes so much flack here in Vegas for things that happened years and years ago. It's as though the fans will never forgive him for it.
And he's probably one of the best referees in the whole country.
You like him, huh?
No doubt about it. He's experienced and he's done well most occasions.
Well, I admire him just for getting in there at this stage of his career because he gets booed every time they introduce him. And personally, at this moment, there's nothing he's done to deserve it. Another combination for Pastrana. 11th round waning away. 3 more minutes for Michael Carbajal to come up with a statement in defense of his light flyweight world championship.
I thought that Pastrana unwisely took that round off.
Agua.
Dale, masaje la pierna, vamos. Okay, let's get it. He's gonna come out to try to get you all out. You need this last round.
Oye, pelearle cortito, ¿me entiendes? No sabe pelear cortito.
You need to jab him shortly. Don't let him hold on to you.
Cuidado aquí, ¿eh?
Keep the hands up.
Let's go combinations. It's the last round. You'll be champion.
Keep the hands up, the same side. Short punches.
The Prince and the Pauper. Is the Pauper going to pull off a royal upset?
In case you just joined us, Michael Carbajal, 1988 American Olympian, first 108-pound fighter ever to make more than $1 million in his career, is in danger of being beaten by a young man from Colombia who doesn't yet own an automobile, who's never fought for more than $1,000. In fact, what is your scorecard show going into this last round, Harold Letterman?
Jim, it's crunch time. 104, 104, all even. I got Carbajal, Mauricio Pastrana even because Michael did win that 11th round. Whoever wins this round wins the fight.
George, what do you do when you go into the 12th round of what you know deep in your heart is probably an even or close to even fight?
Well, Carbajal has got the better reach. And if he's going to play that left jab stuff, he's got to hit, move out of the way, and not be hit back. And that's what he's doing right now. He's staying on top of the jab and avoiding all of the shots that are countered by Pastrana. But if not, he's not going to do that. Once he's take a break, he's got to attack. Now, Pastrana, he's got to go wild right now because if he want to win those judges over, he's got to stay wild. You can't take a break.
Fight has changed considerably since the early rounds. Michael Carbajal spent the first 6 rounds of this fight chasing Mauricio Pastrana around the ring, trying to cut the ring off on him, constantly being the aggressor. Then Carbajal got the cut over the left eye. Pastrana showed his ability to land frequent combinations. And now as we go into the last round, you can see Carbajal trying to box.
Pastrana's corner may have made a mistake telling him that he's champion of the world. All he has to do is stay out of trouble. You can't do that in these when it's up to judges.
Oh, right.
Not when you're an unknown challenger from Colombia with only 15 preceding pro fights.
Break. Punching it out.
Last minute of a fight that very few here expected to go the distance. And both fighters obviously tired, trying not to show it.
Carbajal seemed to be even more so than the other fellow.
Yeah, he looks worn out. And another body shot for Pastrana, who's landed a couple of hard body shots in the last 30 seconds. That may be enough to steal the rounds.
Carbajal is accustomed to getting late round knockouts also.
Well, he's not going to knock this guy out because among his many other qualities, Pastrana has shown a rock-solid chin.
Very solid chin.
Crowd's going to rise in appreciation of this one. Good fight. Pastrana's handler's picking him up. Bittersweet irony. Pastrana says that he was friendly with the last Colombian fighter to appear on one of these pay-per-view cards here, the late Jimmy Garcia. In the 12th and final round, CompuBox punch stat counters say that Carbajal threw 58 punches and Pastrana slowed down to throw only 48. but they landed the same number, so Pastrana landed at a higher rate. Harold, who'd you give the fight to?
Jim, I definitely gave it to Michael Carbajal. 114, 113. I thought he pulled out the round that he had to pull out. The 12th round, 7 rounds to 5, 114, 113. Michael Carbajal, but remember, that 3rd round could be the difference, because I'm telling you, you have to consider a 10-8 round where a guy's legs are wobbling like Michael Carbajal did. I mean, he looked like he was one punch from disaster.
And a close look at Carbajal's left eye. They got through the fight without too much undue hassle as the result of that cut. Larry pointed out the blood was going around the eye to the side rather than directly over it. Mauricio Pastrana, how much does he know about the history of judges' decisions in Las Vegas? What is he expecting at this point?
Well, it looks to me like the best you could do is a draw. So you give it the edge to the champion.
And now let's go up to Michael Buffer and find out who won.
Ladies and gentlemen, by way of Caesar's Palace, we go to the scorecards. Mike Liana scores the bout 116 to 112. He has it for Carbajal. Jerry Roth scores the bout 115 to 113 for Pastrana. And Dwayne Ford scores about 115 to 114 for the winner on a split decision. The new champion, Mauricio Pastrana.
Mauricio Pastrana with a stunning upset by split decision over Michael Carbajal. He made $55,000 tonight after never having made more than $1,000 in any given fight, and he can demand more next time out. Mauricio, go ahead and buy yourself a car. You've never owned one. You should enjoy it now.
And an ice cream parlor.
Look at the total punches in the fight, and here's why Pastrana won. He overwhelmed Carbajal with activity from rounds 6 through 10, and then managed to hold on as Carbajal tried to come back with a change in style to boxing in the last couple of rounds. Jabs in the bout. Both fighters pretty much abandoned them through long portions of the fight. Carbajal tried to bring it back at the end, but if you look at the whole 12 rounds, Pastrana was more effective there. So an upset victory for the young man who 2 days ago was a total unknown. Larry Merchant is in the ring.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Michael, obviously you're disappointed. You got wobbled badly in the 3rd round. You got cut in the 7th round. What happened on the cut? Was that a headbutt or was it a punch?
I'm not sure if it was a punch or a headbutt. I don't know what happened. But he caught me with the good right hand in the, what was the 3rd round where I got hurt. But I thought I came back, and he was a tough fight, and he was a good little fighter. And
it looked like he tried to fight you just the way Gonzalez did in the 2nd and 3rd fight. Stay outside, throw flurries, and get out.
Pretty much so. He did fight like that. And, I tried to knock him out with every punch that I had, and I think that was a mistake. I didn't let my punches flow the way I wanted to, but I don't take anything away from him, and I'll sure love to fight him again, because this is a great fight.
So are you going to continue your career? You're not going to just stop fighting now?
No way. I think he'll give me another shot. For the money, he'll make some money there. So I think this is a great fight, and it was a close fight, and I give it to him. He fought a hell of a fight.
Would you go to his country to fight him?
Why not? I'm a fighter, I'm a warrior, and I'll fight wherever they put me in there.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you.
Okay, Mauricio, congratulations.
Mauricio, muchas felicidades.
Why were you able to win this fight?
¿Por qué fue que tú ganaste esta pelea?
Bueno, sí, la verdad que yo gané la pelea porque yo puse un poco de mi inteligencia, hice lo que tenía que hacer contra Carbajal, que es un boxeador muy fuerte, que pega
I won
mucho.
the fight because I used my intelligence, I used my everything that I know against a good fight like Carbajal.
Did you watch the tapes of the Gonzalez victories over Carbajal and try to mimic what he was doing?
Tú miraste la pelea que tuvo Carbajal con González y así peleaste tú de ese estilo. Estabas imitando a González como peleaste esta noche.
Sí, la verdad que sí. Yo tengo los videos de la chiquita González con que peleó con Carbajal, y de esos videos los vemos muchísimo porque esa pelea interesante.
It's true. I seen that fight, and we did that, and it was an interesting fight with them, and that's why we...
You named your son after Michael because he was your hero. What are your feelings about beating him for the championship?
Tú nombraste a tus hijos de Michael y Danny. ¿Cómo te sientes tú haber ganado hoy en día?
Bueno, sí, la verdad que yo siempre he admirado a Michael Carbajal, era un gran campeón, y por eso yo puse a mis hijos así. Uno se llama Michael Pastrana y el otro se llama Danny Pastrana. Y bueno, la verdad que consiguió eso, y él me acaba de dar el título, lo que yo siempre he querido.
I named my children after Michael and Danny because he was a great champion, and I won this fight tonight.
Thank you very, very much. Congratulations again. Now back to Nick Charles.